everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Dennis. So today's video, we're going to take a video that I did previous to this, 980 Ti. I took it all apart. I had no intentions to ever put it back together. So probably should have filmed putting all the screws and taking them out and everything like that. But anyway, it actually was quite easy to figure out where they all went, because there's different sizes, and you could kind of look at the depth of the holes they were going in and figure it out from there. It's really simple. Anyway, it's in this video. Stay tuned and watch it. It's quite interesting. I think you'll like it. And I was quite surprised to put a 980 Ti back together, and it worked pretty well, getting it together, I mean. So you'll have to stay and watch if you think whether I did it right or not. And give me some feedback, because I've never done this before. And so now I'm thinking maybe the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to water cool one of these puppies. Because if the only thing holding that back was the cooling system on it, I might want to get my hands on one of these water coolers and give that a try. So maybe that'll come in a future video. Anyway, talking too long. On with the video. Okay, so in one of my previous videos, I tore down the GTX 980 Ti and the GTX 770. I got rid of the 770 because it's kind of older and just didn't need it. I don't need this one either, but I thought I would try and repair it. So what I've done is I put on all of the thermal pads that, like, to keep the heat down, because a lot of them were missing from the original graphics card. For whatever reason, they just weren't there. So that could have a lot to do with why this was overheating and why it didn't work. I'm going to replace the thermal paste, clean this all off first, put on new thermal paste, and then we're going to try it one more time and to see if it'll work now. Maybe it's just an overheating issue. Maybe the thermal paste is finally broken down. We're going to give it a try. Worst that happens, it doesn't work. I'm not out any money. So basically I'm going to put this part back on here and let's see what happens. Okay, so we've taken off the thermal paste. Okay, cleaned it all off. Don't need to put it on here. We need to put it on here a little bit. I'm going to use Noctua's, it's NTH1. I'll just show you that. And the nice thing about this is it's non-conductive. So if it happens to spray a little further than I think it's going to, it's no big deal because it's not going to cause any problems. So we're just going to put a little bit on here. Hopefully that's enough. And now I'm going to start putting it together. So let's hope I can do this without causing too much of a mess. Now, I know you might not be able to see this very well, but I'm just going to try and fasten that on. It's going to be hard to do, I'll tell you that. Okay, that one's in. Now we're going to fasten this one in on the other side. Okay, screws in there good. And now we're just going to fit this on. And there. Now I'm just going to turn it over carefully and put in all the screws. Okay, so the big thing now is to put in all our screws and make sure that they all go in right. Make sure you line up all your holes so that they go in okay. And now these are different size, these four here. And of course these three should be pretty much the same size as the rest of them. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So the first thing I did is I put this one in, making sure it's the right size, and then I'm just going to repeat and put all these in. So I'm not going to do them in any particular order, but I am going to do them so when I got them in there I know that they're lined up, so I don't have to change anything afterward. Okay, so we may have to readjust as we go a little bit, but should go in there pretty good. Of course, you got the 4 different screws, these big ones, that are going in these ones right here. And they got a little spring for tension. So those are kind of important. So I might just go ahead and do that first. just to make sure it's in there real good. It snugs up pretty quick once it's in there, so there's no mistaking if you got it in right or not. Same thing with this one here. You'll know when you got it in. You can definitely tell. And same thing with these ones. And the last one. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of them. And of course, we got these two longer screws here. Okay, so those ones are for this plate here. So when that goes into the end, and I'll show you that. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and put those other screws in. So one last thing I want to mention is when you're putting this piece in, okay, these two are going to go where these are. So make sure when you put it on, okay, don't put these screws in first, or you're not going to have it on. You're going to have to take it back off and put it on. So it's going to go on there like that. All right, so just keep that in mind. We're going to put our screw in. Screws. Okay, so putting the screws in was pretty simple. Of course, these ones were easy to identify, the four different ones here, because they had the springs. These ones were pretty much all the same size. Same with all the rest of these. The only ones that were really different were the ones in the front. So you have these two ones here, okay, which, you know, those are pretty self-evident. You can see those most times. And the rest of the screws, let me just fasten out here, were just kind of small, okay. A little bit bigger one here. These ones are all kind of, these three on the outside were small. These two here are a little bit bigger. And they had that little blue on them from when I took them apart. So made it easy for me to figure out which ones went where. Because when I took this apart, I had no intention of putting it back together. So it's all back together. It's all ready to go. Okay, had to make sure we line up all these. So now, the only thing left to do now is just put it in a system and test it like we did last time and see if it made any difference. So we'll do that next. Okay, so we replaced the graphics card in this system with a 980 Ti, and I'm just going to pan over here to show you that this computer is working now. That's the one that's going on. I just turned it on. So we're going to run our test and see what happens. So the interesting thing is the graphics card does work. Not 100% the way it should, because it does still have some of those little flickering lines going across. So you're not going to want to have it for gaming. It's just not going to do it. But you can have it just daily use, and it'll probably work fine. But we're going to stress it anyway. I've got Ada64, the trial version. We're going to stress it anyway, just to see what happens. It'll probably crash like it did last time, but hey, let's give it a go. So here we go. Let's start it off and see how long she runs. Last time it didn't go too long, so we'll see how far we get into it. So we're at 100% utilization. We're at 40 degrees. So now I never really got hot before, so I don't really think that was the issue to start with. I think it was more just there's something wrong with it. And what that is, I have yet to find out, but I never planned to put it back together in the first place, so let's give it a go and see what happens. So we're 30 seconds in and it hasn't crashed yet. That's a good start, because it didn't take very long last time. I think it was like just a few seconds. So something's better, and maybe the thermal paste made some difference. So we'll let it run for about 5 minutes, or when it crashes, I'll tell you what it was. And yeah, so far, I mean, I'm pretty impressed. It's I'm pretty sure I didn't get to 100, like to a full minute last time. So we're at a full minute, 100% utilization. Temperature's not getting above 36. Well, okay, we hit 41, so still not bad. Yeah, let's pause it and come back a little bit later. So one of the things I just realized is I wasn't actually stressing the GPU up here. So I am now, and still we're 100% utilization. Nothing really much has changed. We're at the 2-minute mark, and again we'll let it go for a little while and see what happens, and we'll come back at hopefully the 5-minute mark and everything is good to go. Something else I thought I'd do at the same time just to see, put a little bit more pressure on it. I'm going to open CPU ID and just see what it's telling us here. I'll just move that up to the top here. So this is a Kaby Lake processor. That's the system I've been using for testing. It's an i5-7400. And it's not overclocked or anything like that. Although probably by now I probably should be. And yeah, I'm just checking to see if there's anything shows up in here that's out of the ordinary. But there's really not. So I'll just close that back down. It didn't cause it to fail or nothing. So sometimes just open Task Manager can cause that. So we're at the 3.5 minute mark. So you know what? We may have actually just fixed this graphics card, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's got a little bit of flittering across the screen at different times, but it hasn't done it at all since I've done the testing. It did do it when I first started it up, but so far that's the only time it's done it. So maybe I'll go into a game and just play a game for a few minutes and see what happens as well. But I mean, game's not going to stress it as much as this is. So we're still at only a max of 42. I think it hit once. And 100% utilization. And the card's running great. We're at the 4 minute mark. So let's run a game here once it hits 5 minutes and see what happens there. Okay, so we've passed the 5 minute mark. And it's still going. No problem. No heat temperatures past 42 at the most that I've ever seen so far. Oh, it just hit 43, so it's pushing a little bit harder maybe now. So I'm going to let this run a little bit longer, and I think the next thing we're going to do now, since it seems to be working enough for me anyway, for a system that I'm good in, especially for an older system that doesn't need anything that much because I don't play games on it, to be honest, but I'm going to play a few games just to show you that it'll be able to do that. So we're at 5:45. I gotta stop this at 6 minutes, and then we'll see what a game will do to it. I'll try and come up with something that'll tax it out a little bit more. But I mean, it's still not going to tax it as much as EA64 Stream Test. That's pretty much as hard as you're going to push it. So again, 6 minute mark. Let's go to see what happens in a game. Alright, so we're going to play this game for a little bit and just check it out. Just enough to play, test out the graphics card a little bit and see what happens. So it's loaded up the game, no problem. So you're just going to try a couple different things and see what happens. So I mean, it's obviously it's loading the game, it's doing everything. This is just like a gems game. I just kind of like to play it. It's not going to tax it a whole lot, but I don't have a lot on this system to be able to do that. But even this, if you're just doing light gaming or anything like that, I might have to log into my other account just to try something. But I mean, you can see it's doing this without any issues. Okay, so we'll play Half-Life 2. I honestly have this, and I've never played it on this PC, so we're going to get in it, and we're going to play it, and just give this. It's still just testing the graphics card some more. I mean, honestly, it's been working now for going on 2 hours or more while I watched a different show. Everything is loading up just perfectly. Graphic details are fine. Everything. So, I mean, if the game doesn't play well, it's because, well, I don't really know how to play it. So, anyhow. There's no sound, so sorry about that. Okay. You obviously don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. Anyway. Being healed. Well, that's always good. It's always good to be healed. Alright, so where are we going here? Whoops. Can't get out of here. Oh. Okay. Anyway, it works. I suck at this game, but I'll learn it later. The gist was just to see how it worked. And obviously there's a lot going on in this screen, so it's a pretty good test of it. Alright everybody, so in my go to bed clothes, ready for a nap. Anyhow, let's get on to the graphics card. Never intended to put it back together. I did. Apparently reapplying the thermal paste was enough to make a difference. Hard to believe, actually, but I didn't put that much on. But maybe they had too much on it before and it was just enough to cause an issue. The lines across the screen, they're gone. So I don't know what happened, or maybe it'll come back. But anyway, it's working. It's working in a couple of those games you just saw. And I have a new graphics card that's going to probably work for quite a while for me. So anyway, if you like it, hit that like. If you don't, you know what to do. Hit that bell for future notifications. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought. And if you have any questions. Up till then, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Take care. Bye now.